on this house here. So we ended up in the last lecture with excavating the soil underneath the house here to a level of minus 900 millimeters. The idea being is that we can put a foundation down there, a floor slab, and then from later on we put in another floor at an upper level. So if you want to put a foundation into a building, there's a quick way of doing it. Well, there's a couple of ways of doing it. First of all, I'm just going to check we have a foundation level. Yeah, we do. So we have foundation level here. So we need to have that in there. Save the project. I think I'll just get it going like this on the screen here. Floor plan, floor plan. So we can see at the moment that this wall is sitting on nothing. It's just floating in the air. So we made the excavation around the house. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to modify this wall because I don't want to have this this sweep on it. It's not doing anything for the design, I don't think. So let's just modify the wall first of all. Select the wall, edit the type, edit the structure. And if you look at the preview here, it's got this this sweep at the top here. So I'll just go into sweeps and select this one and just delete it, take it away, okay, and it removes it from all the walls, so we don't need those sweeps in there anymore. And this is just a basic wall. If I select it, it's only a generic 400 millimeter wall. It's got no layers in it, so it's just but we can still see the layers set up in the roof in there. So the quick way to make a foundation is you can either go into the foundation level and draw the foundation, or you can just copy the walls you've already made. So if I come into the 3D model here and leave the cursor on top of one of the walls, if I press tab, it selects all the connected walls around the house, and then if I click on it, you can see that it's actually selected the walls that go in a loop. So it can be a quick way of selecting walls in a loop. Because these walls already describe their position in plan view on the ground, we know that that's where we want the foundation to be. We just want it to be a little bit lower. So the quick way of doing that is, now that we've selected the walls, we can copy them. So it's not the normal copy tool here, it's actually a copy to clipboard, which is these two little pieces of paper up here. So you copy to clipboard. And then we can say paste. If we select the arrow underneath paste, we can say align to selected levels. And this is how you actually copy many elements. If you have a skyscraper, for example, of, I don't know, 120 stories or whatever, you would have a list of levels, 120 levels here, and you could actually copy and paste all the windows from one level to all 119 other levels in the same move. So it's a shorthand way of doing multiple copies. So I'm going to say I'm going to copy those walls to foundation level. If I press OK, you can see that it's copied them down, but it's giving me a warning which is saying highlighted walls overlap. And they overlap because they still have the same height as they had up there. So what I want to do is, it's fine that their baseline is correct, but I want them to stop at first floor level so they're not overlapping the other walls. So while they're still selected, just cancel that, I can change the top constraint of the wall, which at the moment is unconnected, and I can just change that to level 1. It's telling us it's going to unjoin some elements, that's fine. And delete some elements, that's fine. And you can see that this wall now has just popped in to this level here. So we have a wall at the correct level and it's the correct height. All we need to do is change it to the right type of wall for a foundation, which would be some like a concrete wall or something like that. So for the purposes of this here, I'm going to change the wall type to, what have we got in here? Let's just say foundation 450 millimeters concrete. and it puts a concrete foundation along the base of the wall there. Okay. Now, what we have left is this kind of crazy wall we made earlier, which is now still a crazy shape, but you can see that the wall we've copied is made of concrete. It's got the thickness of the concrete wall. So we kind of need to take that into account. So I'll select the wall, and all I need to do is reset the profile. So it's going to take away all these the changes to the shape we made, and just make it rectangular again. At least it should do. Oops, I reset the wrong one. Make sure I select the right one. Reset profile. So it brings it right down to the base of the wall. And over here we're just missing one because I didn't want to do it too much. Okay, I'm just going to change this back from a curtain wall, but just back to a normal exterior wall. Do the same thing again. Copy, paste. Oops. Align to selected levels. Foundation level, okay. Change the top constraint to level 1. Okay. Okay, so you should have some foundations in there. Something like that. Okay, so we've got some kind of foundation in there. So the last thing we need to do before we start dealing with stairs is we're going to put some floors in. So let's go to level 1. And in level 1, we have the house is described in terms of its overall geometry. So we just need to make a floor. So we go up to architecture, and we choose one of these childish-looking buttons up here. And we say floor, but architectural floor. So you have to choose architectural floor, not structural floor, okay? We're not dealing with structure yet. Architectural floor. And again, we get the same options in here. We can either pick the lines of the that define the floor, we can pick the walls, or we can just draw it. So I'm going to just use pick lines today. So I'm going to pick this line, this line, this line, this line. And again, I'm only going to pick one line in the geometry inside the curtain wall here, because we don't want to have all of these lines. We just need one of them to describe the geometry all the way around. Now note, I'm picking the lines inside the walls, because you don't want to have a floor coming through a wall, because later on when you start to draw your details, it's going to cause you problems, because you will have a cold bridge coming through the wall effectively. So if I pick those lines, I'm just going to use the trim tool again, so I can trim this one together with this one together with this one, and this one together with this one. So you should have all these pink lines should be in one enclosed loop all the way around with no overlappings and no extra lines in there. Okay? Huh? I'll tell you, I'll do it and then I'll do it again if you need me to. So over here, I'm going to just choose the type of floor I want it to be. And I think I'll just choose a, what have we got? Suspended. Say, let's say ground floor 400 millimeters concrete and polystyrene. I'm going to choose this floor type. And then I just accept it. Like that. And if I type WT again, we should have a floor in there. And there we have it there. So there's a floor with insulation on the bottom and then a concrete layer on top. Yeah, makes sense? So that's the easy one. So now I'm just going to very quickly, will I pause that? Does anybody need help with that? Okay, so we want to get into stairs if possible today. So I'm just going to very quickly raise this roof so that we have enough room for another level in there. So a quick way to do it is we can just select the roof, and over here it says its base level is at level 2, and it says base offset from level is 0. But we can just give it an offset of 2 meters. So if I say 2 meters, 2,000 millimeters, and apply that, you see the roof shoots up in the air. So suddenly it's a 2-story house. But because we've got the walls connected to the roof, they will just follow along. So you can play with the levels of the building, and it won't. It'll still maintain its integrity as long as everything is connected together. Okay. So now we want to put a second level in here, and because we've already done it once, we can use the same way. It's less complicated than the way we made the foundation, but we can copy the ground floor level to the first floor because it's the right shape, more or less. So if I tab this until I select the floor, once again I go up to copy to clipboard, and then when I go to paste, align to selected levels, I'm going to put it on level 2 instead. Press OK, and so now it's placed another floor in there for us. Okay. So now I can just select the floor and change it to a more realistic floor. So let's change it to suspended timber with wood planks, let's say. So then we actually have some timber, a timber floor in there. Looks something like that. This is the mellowest class I've ever been in. It's Friday afternoon, is it? All right, okay. Okay, that's pretty much all I'm going to do with floors and so on, because now I want to get into stairs, because you know, that's a useful thing to do, hopefully. So I'm going to go into level 1 here. There's one thing I just want to say to you about this, first of all, is that if you notice, if you go into a section view or an elevation view or something like that, you notice that the level lines here, they're always on the very, very top of the floor, the very, very top of the floor surface. It's important that you don't offset your floors so that they're going above the level lines or below the level lines, at least for the main floors, because it won't work when it comes to forming the stairs. Because the stair tool in Revit is designed in such a way is that it goes from floor surface to floor surface, because then it can calculate the different distance in between the different steps and so on. So as long as you've set it up so your floors are going from level to level, and that the top of your floor surface is at the same line as the level itself, which is the default way for Revit to work, then you won't have any trouble setting up your stairs, hopefully. So I'm going to go into level 1 again, and let's just WT again, and I'm going to close this one down. And I'm just going to set up a section box so we can cut a little bit through this house and see what's going on in there, like that. Okay. So now I'm going to go into the stair tool. So architecture tab, come across to stair, and do not use stair by component because it's too complicated. Use stair by sketch in the first semester, okay? It also gives you a lot more freedom to do whatever you want. So we press stair by sketch. We get these 3 options up here: run, boundary, and riser. And a run is just a flight of stairs, so you can basically just draw your stairs as a run. The boundary is wherever you want to put the handrails to the stairs. So it's the green line there. You can see that. And the riser is just the steps itself. So the technical term for a step is a riser. So a riser is the difference in height, how much it rises between one step to the next. So I'm going to start by drawing a run of stairs. And I'm not going to worry too much about where it is at the moment. I'm just going to kind of draw it in the middle of the floor here. And if I click here, you can see it's actually telling me how many risers it needs to get from ground floor level and first floor level, or level 1 and level 2 as it's described here in Revit. So it's telling me now I've drawn 7 risers, 12 or 8 risers, 12 remaining. I can just stop there and it will draw the first flight of stairs. And then I can choose where I want to start again. Let's say over here. Let's just do it down slightly here. And draw it up this way. And we could also maybe just, let's just be a little bit, let's put it over here and we'll draw the rest of them going this way. So we kind of made a stairs that has 2 dog legs in it. Let's call it dog leg when it turns around like that. And you can see that the sketch of the stairs is also turning up in the 3D view. So if you're happy with the shape of the stairs, you can just accept it like that. And it generates the stairs in 3D. So you can see the stairs in 3 dimensions over here. And it defaults to a concrete stairs with a handrail on both sides. Once you've made it, you can take the stairs and you can move it to the correct position. And you can either just use this move tool by taking the corner of the stairs and moving it to the corner, wherever you want to put it, or you can use the align tool to align the stairs directly to a certain position. Oops, that was the handrail. I didn't want to do that. Let's just use the move tool today. Move, corner. So you should have something like that. Now, the number of steps, the height of the steps are programmed into the Revit under the DANIDU template to comply with the Danish building regulations. So if the stairs seem enormous to you, or the steps seem very low and the distance between them very wide, it's because they're complying with the Danish building regulations, which is current for public buildings, but not necessarily for domestic buildings. So you have freedom to modify those settings as well if you want to, which we might get into a bit later if we have time. Everybody with me so far? Those of you that are awake? Even no answer from those guys? Okay, so we have it. So all we need to do now is make an opening for the stairs to come through. It doesn't do it automatically. So the way to make an opening is to come up to the Architecture tab, all the way across here to the right, where you have a little panel with different types of openings in it. And the one we need for stairs is called a shaft opening, which is an opening that goes through a building based on the height that you set it to. So I'm going to make a shaft, save the project. And we get the same geometry tools as we always get in here. And because this is such a big stairs, I'm actually going to make it as if it's a light well coming down through the building rather than trying to follow the line of the stairs. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle, and I'm going to take it from the top step, and I'm just going to take it into the corner of the house like that. And let's just see if that works for us. If I accept that, if it goes from level 1 unconnected, let's just put it up to level 2 and accept it. It just makes a hole in the floor over there. Now, the thing about that opening that it makes is that it's adjustable. So I can come back and select it and edit the sketch and change the size of it if we want to. But the important thing for stairs is if I look underneath here, the distance between the step and the top of the ceiling, where you're likely to crash your head off it, has to be a minimum of 2 meters. Huh? Yeah, 2 meters. Is it 2 meters in Denmark? Maybe it's 2.1 in Denmark. I can't remember.
It says that it's recommended, but I can say that
it's required.
Yeah.
In other countries, it's required. Often you have to be careful when they say. Okay, so if you want to see if you have the correct head height in here, what we can do is draw another section. So I'm going to take a section. I'm going to draw a section through the stairs from here to here. It's called section 4. So if I go into section 4 here, we can see what's happening at that point there, how it cuts through the stairs and whatever. And actually, I can take a measurement from here down to here, and it's telling me that it's 1889 is the distance there. So I can see that this shaft opening is not big enough. So let's just WT that again. So what I'm going to do then is edit the sketch of the shaft opening. And I'll actually just make it a little bit more complex. I'll just draw a line here, and I'll take it across to here, and then take it up to here, and then use the trim tool to clean up all those junctions like this. So now the shaft is kind of L-shaped to give us enough head height in there. Does everybody see that? Kind of? Will I do it again?
What can you do the box get on
The opening.
the opening?
Yeah, okay. I'll just finish this first, because then we go back to section 4, and we can see that now it's been pushed back. There's the box, the shaft opening box. If I now take a dimension, from here down to here, we've got nearly 2.4 meters, so there's lots of space for people to walk through there. Okay. Now, will I do that stuff again here? Just zoom. Now I've got a stairs over here, and we've got an opening for the stairs, and we've got some handrails. But usually in a domestic situation, first of all, you don't need a handrail on the inside face of the stairs, because you only need a handrail on one side. So I can select this handrail and delete it. Makes it a little bit more clear. But I might want to draw a handrail around the upper level of the opening. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit dangerous when Junior goes out to play. So let's go into level 2. If I go into level 2, I can see the outline of the opening here. So all I need to do is use the railing tool, and it will default to the same default railing that Revit has. And I'm just going to draw, or I can pick the lines or draw. Let's say I'm going to put one here. I want to put one here, and it goes right the way around, isn't it? So one here and one here. And once again, use the trim tool to trim it together. And I'm going to drag it up so that it doesn't cover the entire face of the railing there. And actually, I forgot, you need to do it in 2 goes, because it's actually 2 separate railings here. So I'm just going to accept it. We got one of them. And then I'm going to do it again, railing. And this time I'll just draw a railing from here to here and accept it. And if I go back in here, you can see that we've now got a railing drawn around the floor opening here. They don't clean up very nicely as a default, but that's to do with some of the settings we can put into them later on. So you can see that this railing here shoots above this railing here, but we can figure that out later on when we get more into it. So it's not often that you want to put a concrete stairs into your house. Well, not a concrete stairs that looks like that anyway, because that's like a standard office block escape stairs or something like that. But once we put it in place, we can select it. And we have a couple of basic types set up. We've got the monolithic stairs, which is the one it gives you by default. But then we have one, if I select this monolithic stairs up here on the right, we also have something called a stringer stairs. And if I click on stringer, you can see it modifies the stairs so that it's actually made up of pieces. So it looks like it's made of timber, which is a standard staircase, okay? So everybody's probably played with this a little bit, at least many people have. So once you've made a stringer stairs, you can actually then add different elements to different parts of the stairs. What I'm going to do now is I'll just select this, and I'm just going to, where are we? Isolate the elements. So now we're just looking at the staircase by itself. So there we have the stairs. now I can modify it. I can come in here and select the stairs. I can edit the type, duplicate it, call it test stairs. And in here we can change the tread height, the riser height, all that kind of stuff. We can modify the materials and finishes. So I can go in here and say, well, I want the tread material, the tread being the top of the step where you tread. I'm going to change that to some kind of timber color. So let's make that wood. What have we got for wood? Let's make it oak. So I'm going to turn it into oak. The riser I'm going to take away. I'm going to make it an open riser stairs. So I'm just going to select it. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to change the riser down here to riser type. I'm going to change that from straight to none. And just by making those two simple changes, the stairs starts to look like that. We can also adjust the nosing of the stairs, and the nosing is the shape of the first face of the stairs. You can curve it, you can make it any shape you want, you can make it a different material if you want. So I can select it again, edit the type, and we can go to nosing length and change the profile to whatever shape we've made in there. At the moment we've only got the cornice that we made earlier. If I change it to cornice, it's going to look a bit funny. It's going to look like that. Yeah, that's so smart. And the other one we have in here is a sweep. At the moment it looks like that. So you can see that just by making a metric profile, you can change the shape of the front of the stairs to whatever shape you want. It's the same metric profile we use to make the cornices, to make the gutter, to make the fascia, all that kind of stuff. It's just a profile. So I won't worry about that for the moment. What I can do though is take these elements at the side here, which are called stringers, and maybe you don't want two stringers on the side. Maybe we just want we don't want any side stringers, and maybe we want two stringers in the middle. And yeah, that's fine. I just apply that. So now the stairs looks like that. So you can start to play with basic elements of the stairs just by using those specific settings like that. What else can we do? Let's have a look at it. We can turn the stringer. Oh, what else will I do there? Tread thickness, materials and finishes. We'll change the stringer material first of all. We'll make it zinc. Okay. And the last thing we can do is we can start to actually modify the shape of the stairs as it goes up. So if I go in and edit the stairs again, let's go into level 1. If I select the stairs, edit the sketch, maybe I don't want this stairs to be completely straight. Maybe I want to make a stairs, for some kind of Hollywood home or something. So I'm going to make the front of the stairs kind of fan out, so you can come down there in your evening dress and look impressive. So I'm going to make it fan out. Just by moving the boundary, I can change the shape of the stairs by doing that very simply. And suddenly the stairs now has a kind of a fan to the front of it. Okay? So that's the first thing we can do. We could select it again, edit the sketch, and I can actually replace the steps with, whoops, I'm using the wrong one here. You need to use risers. I'm going to replace the steps with some curved elements. So I'll just put a few curved steps in there. And the only thing you have to remember is you need to delete the steps that you're replacing. So delete that, delete this one, delete this one, delete this one. And if I accept that, now the stairs looks like this. So you can start to play with the stairs in very simple ways without getting into complex family or component creation or whatever. You can start to play with stairs and make stairs that at least are starting to be something a little bit more interesting. So let's just do another stairs just for the laugh. So I'm going to architecture, stair by sketch, and this time around I'm going to do a dogleg stairs, which is a stairs that goes back on itself. So I'm going to draw stairs outside the house here, just as a kind of an exercise. And I'm going to draw it coming back on itself like that. You can see that Revit creates the landing automatically. But now I can select boundary, and I can modify that, and I can make that into maybe some kind of a balcony there. And if I accept that, I need to switch off the reset and switch off the section box. So it's now made a stairs with a kind of a curved balcony on it. So you can kind of continue to do this kind of stuff. One last thing about this is if we had a skyscraper in here, we could set a multi-story option on the stairs here, just by selecting it. And where is it again? Multi-story. Sorry, my constraints was closed down. Anyway, so you can select it, and you can say multi-story top level, and you can just decide how many of them you want. So if I say the top level of this is the roof, and apply it, it will make as many stairs as it takes between the ground floor and the roof. If there's 20 stories, it will make 20 stairs. But they're all linked to each other. So if you modify one of them, they will all be modified, as you can see there. So that's like a quick way of making stairs in large buildings. I think I'm going to leave it at that because I think that's enough information on a Friday afternoon.